everyone, I am trying something new. So this is the Brassavola orchid that I got at the Portland Orchid Society meeting, and I have been kind of not liking that it's in this black pot. Now this black pot, sorry about that, this black pot is probably an appropriate size for this plant because these plants do really like to have tight shoes on, so to say. They like to get pot bound as far as I've read online. So this pot is a good size. However, the problem that I've been warned about online and now have had firsthand experience with is when you have a black pot like this and you have the plant in hot sun, the inside of the pot gets super hot. So I don't like that. So I took this plant out and I'm seeing the media. It looks like it has some weird, I don't know, spider webby stuff on it. That's kind of gross. I don't like it. Let's focus. Focus! Yay! So what I think I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to just mount this, but in an alternative way. So my plan here is I'm going to get rid of this media. I don't really want it. I'm going to take this sphagnum moss, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use this mesh that I got from a bag of oranges, little tangerines or whatever they are, and I'm just going to put the sphagnum, wrap up these roots, pack them in tight, and then make this mesh into a little sack around the plant, and I'm just going to hang it in my window. So before I go ahead and repot this totally or do in my alternative form of mounting it, I'm just going to spray it and see what happens to the roots, see which roots are alive, because this one has roots that turn pretty nice and green when they get wet. Let's turn it over and spray the other side too. Alright, and we can watch this turn green. Do you see? So we've got this root turning green down here. That looks good. This root is turning green. This root, I mean, it's changing color. It's likely that these roots in the middle are not turning as green because they were on the inside of the pot, so they didn't produce as much chlorophyll as these other roots. Because remember, roots on orchids can produce chlorophyll because these are epiphytic plants, so they can undergo photosynthesis. And as you can see, dead roots, we have the, what? Is this the central part, the cortex? Orchid friends, let me know. But I think it is. So we have the velamen. It will be papery and just kind of pull right off the cortex on dead roots. So, I mean, on one hand, some people like to leave some of these dead strings on the orchid just to give the plant a little stability. Other people say where there's dead things, there's rotting things, and they just really don't want to leave any of the dead roots. I think it's a personal choice at this point, but I'm not really sure, so I'm not going to make a firm opinion statement here. So yeah, you can see here on this dead root, you can just smush this down. It's hollow, it's papery. On a healthy root, we can squeeze it and it stays nice and firm. But yeah, you can see all these green roots are healthy. I'm going to go ahead and remove a few of the dead roots, and then I'm going to wrap it up in sphagnum. Okay, so this is the resulting plant that I have left. If we look over here, this is the little pile of roots and old sheaths and whatnot that I removed. You can see maybe that this part is a little bit green, but this white bit here that has the green at the base, that's part of an old growth that I removed because I don't find them too visually appealing. So yeah, these are all the old dead roots. You can see none of them turned green or yellow or solid while I sprayed them with water, so I knew that they were all dead. So I don't think they have much value to the plant. Now I'm left with this. So let's have a look. We can see all these roots, maybe except one or two that I missed, have turned green or yellow when we sprayed them. They've changed color and they're kind of happy, so that's good. We can see I've removed some of the old sheaths, but the good thing about this is that there's quite a few healthy roots here, and we have, you see those little nubbins, that little nubbin in the middle of the screen? That's a new root. We have another new root, that little green nubbin. We have more little new nubbins coming along. So this plant seems to be in a growth phase, I think, and I think it's going to recover just fine from this if and only if it's happy with the potting situation I give it. So yeah, I also cut off some of the old stems that were dried up and not very nice looking either. So I'm gonna try to wrap this up and show you the result. Remember, this is experimental and I'm really new to Brassavolas, so this is not advice, but rather demonstrating an experiment to you. Be right back. Okay, and here we have it, the finished product. So basically what I have done is I took that mesh from the bag of oranges and I wrapped it around sphagnum moss, and then I used some thread to like just gently, you can see I kind of cross the thread over to hold some more sphagnum on the top roots. And then I used sandwich twisty ties and thread from regular sewing kit to hang this orchid. This orchid is very light and I have quadrupled over the thread, so it should really stay in place. I'm not worried about it. If this were a heavy orchid, obviously I would go buy some things that were more suitable to heavy mounting, but I think that this isn't going to be a problem. I'm going to let this get full, slightly screened sun like this. This is an old shower curtain, and we're going to see what happens. My plan is to dip this every time the sphagnum moss feels dry. Just dip it in water and then let it dry out again. And that's how I'm going to try caring for this. If any of you orchid growing friends on my YouTube channel have any thoughts about this thing that I have created, that I've made a semi-mount, let me know. Let me know if you think my care plan of mostly full sun with a light shade and growing in sphagnum moss that I'm going to wet once it dries out every time it dries out is a good plan or not. Let me know what you think. Alright, thanks for watching my experiment. I'll be sure to update this someday if I remember. Have a good one. Happy growing. Bye guys.